Hello everyone, Vicki here, and welcome to the Holy Trinity Twickenham Sunday School session for today. Now we are going to go right back to the beginning of the Bible, the Old Testament. We're going to go back to Genesis chapter 1, the end of chapter 1 and the beginning of chapter 2, so right at the very, very beginning of the Bible. Now our story is about the first people that God created, and you probably know what they're called. God created Adam and Eve. He created the world. He had created everything that we see, the moon, the sun, the earth, the sea, the land, everything. And then he created Adam and Eve. Now, God really, really wanted to have a friendship, a relationship with Adam and Eve. He spent a lot of time with them. He walked with them and talked with them. And he really, really wanted to have a relationship with them, just like he wants to have a relationship with us. Now, if you know the story of Adam and Eve, they didn't really listen to what God said, and they disobeyed him. They made a bad choice, or another word is they sinned. So they were banished from the garden where they lived. But even after that, God did not just give up on them and say, that's it, don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. He really, really still wanted to be their friend. Just like us, we make bad choices and bad decisions, but that doesn't mean that God just dismisses us and has nothing more to do with us. Now I want to show you something. I'm sure you know what this is. If I show you this, now there would normally be another one in the middle, but I thought for the purpose of today, we know that this, we're mainly looking at this one, the red, if you were in a car and this came up on a traffic light, you would know that that means to stop. Stop. And that is a rule of the road. Everybody who is on the road should know that. It is a rule, and there are lots of signs and there are lots of rules on the road and to do with travelling and traffic, and the rules are there to keep us safe. Now God has rules for us as well, and he wants us to be safe. He wants us to be happy. And in our story today, Adam and Eve chose not to obey one of God's rules that he had said to them specifically, do not do that. And they didn't listen. Well, they did listen, but then they decided not to do it. They disobeyed, they made a bad choice, or they sinned. So we are going to look at the story today of Adam and Eve. Now, to tell my story, I've got some very funny looking Adam and Eve, so I thought I'd go a little bit retro with my Adam and Eve today. So I've got some stripy Adam here and Eve, and I've got a slightly less stripy God. Okay, so we are going to tell the story of Adam and Eve. Today we're going to talk about the first people God made and the rule God made for them to keep them safe, and the important rule that they didn't keep. Adam and Eve were such good friends with God. God gave them one rule: don't eat from that one tree in the middle of the garden. But they chose to disobey God. And this is what happened as a result. Now, I'm going to use our characters that I introduced before. So we've got God, we've got Adam, and we've got Eve. Now, I've got a stick here, and this stick represents friendship. And I'm going to have God hold one end of the stick and Adam hold the other. So let me put my stick on here. So that stick represents friendship. And this shows how close Adam and Eve were to God. They had a wonderful friendship in the garden. Nothing separated them. They would go walking with God in the garden. They were so connected with each other. But then Adam and Eve disobeyed God and broke that one rule that he gave them. And this really badly damaged their friendship. In fact, it broke it. It broke their friendship. Adam and Eve were banished from the garden. They had made a really bad choice. They had disobeyed God's rule. They had sinned. They tried to make things better. They would make a good choice, but then maybe make another bad choice. And this is the same for all of us. We try really, really hard to do the right thing. And sometimes we just make bad choices, just like Adam and Eve. And it's really, really difficult. And this could have been the end of it. This could have been how God ended things with Adam and Eve. But he had a plan. This friendship would always have been broken, except for one thing. God loves us so much. He wants this friendship to be fixed. God sent his son, Jesus, to mend the broken friendship. Jesus died on the cross to pay for our sin or our bad choices. And by doing this, we became close with God again. This cross was God's part, and our part is inviting Jesus to forgive us and to lead us. I hope you enjoyed our story. Now that story focused on Adam and Eve's relationship or friendship with God. Now, as we know from that story, they made a bad choice. They sinned, and that really, really affected their friendship with God. And I know with your friendships, I'm sure, I know with my friendships that sometimes you go through tough times, sometimes you make choices that you wish you hadn't, and having a friendship takes a bit of work. You have to work at it. You have to think about how you can behave to be a really, really good friend. Now, the other thing that's really important that I would like you to have a think about is the way you have been created. You have been created by God to be exactly and individually you. So if you've got a mirror to hand, I've got a whopping great mirror here, a big mirror. If you've got a mirror, or you can go and find a mirror, I want you to have a look in the mirror and have a look at your features. Have a look at your eyes. Have a look at your nose, your mouth and your ears. Have a look at all your features. If you've got hair like mine in desperate need of a cut, maybe you've managed to have a haircut already. Have a look at your features. The way you are made. God made you just to be you. Those features and those combination of features don't belong to anybody else, just you. Now Bethan's going to do a craft with you in a moment. She's going to make some friendship bracelets. Now you might already know how to make friendship bracelets, and of course you can make them for your friends. What you'll need is some string and possibly some beads. She will show you in a moment. And while you're making your friendship bracelets, I would really love you to have a think about what makes you a good friend. What choices and things do you do to make your friends feel really special? And then maybe you can have a think about how you can be friends with God. What can you do to improve or to work on that relationship with God? Now, you might work on that relationship already. You might talk with God a lot. You might include him in your decisions, and if you're having a tough time thinking about something, maybe you talk to God and try and get some help about your decisions. Maybe that's something you'd like to work on. Your relationship with God is individual to you, just like all your features are individual to you, so is your relationship with God. But like all relationships, it's something you need to work on. So while you're doing your craft, maybe you can have a think about working on your relationship with God.
Hi everybody, my name is Bethan and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these cute little friendship bracelets with beads on. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get some string. You can have it all the same colour like this one, or you can have 3 different colours like this one, or you can just have 2 different colours like this. Next thing you need are some beads and some scissors, but make sure you're being safe with the scissors. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get some sellotape and I'm going to stick it down on one end. So as you can see, I've tied a knot here. So I'm going to stick it down on the knot so that when I'm plaiting this, it stays nice and still and it's easier for me to plait. Okay, so as you can see, I've stuck this down and now I'm going to start plaiting. So if you don't know how to plait, then you basically just put one over the other and it's like they're almost fighting to get into the middle spot. Like this. Okay, so as you can see, I've plaited about halfway down. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly half, but as you can see, I've plaited about halfway down, and now I'm going to pick a few beads to put on. So I have a big bag of beads here, but I've picked these 2 cute little white beads to put on, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so next you want to pick one of the threads, preferably the middle one, and you're going to want to thread on the bead like that. And then this bit can be a bit fiddly, but you basically want to carry on plaiting, but only for like a few more plaits, and then just pulling it tight to make sure that the bead stays on there nice. Once you've done that, you want to get your other bead and again put it in the middle string and just thread that through like that, and then you want to do the same thing but just carry on plaiting until the end. Okay, so once you've plaited to the end, or about here so that there's a couple of centimetres left, you're going to want to tie a knot. So you want to pick it up, and yeah, you're just going to tie a knot at the end, at like the end of the plait, so that it keeps it nice and secure. Any extra like wool, you can just snip it off like that so it's nice and short. Next, you're going to want to pick up the sellotape, take that off, and then you're going to want to hold the 2 ends of your friendship bracelet and just tie a double knot at the back. If you've done that, you can slip it onto your wrist and there you go, you have a really pretty friendship bracelet to wear. Okay, so this friendship bracelet is if you want a bit more of a challenge whilst making it. You need 6 different strings and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so obviously the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to tape the knot at the end down. So I've tied 6 strings together and then I've knotted it at the end and then I'm sticking it down like that. Okay, so I've divided this into 3 strings and 3 strings, and what you want to do is you're going to want to plait these strings separately like this. So this time you're going to want to plait it all the way to the end. Okay, so once you've plaited that, I find it helps if you bring it somewhere and then you stick it down so that it doesn't get in the way of the other one. So that's what I find helps. And then next you're just going to want to plait the other side. Exactly the same, just plait. Okay, so once you're done, you're going to unstick the knot at the end, and you're going to twist them together like that, and then you're going to tie a knot at the end like this, and then you're going to tie them together, and then once you've done that, you have 2 different ways to create a really cute friendship bracelet that you can wear.
Thank you so much, Bethan, for doing that craft with us. Hopefully you'll get a chance to make one or maybe more, and maybe you could give them as gifts to your friends. Now we're going to finish with a song. It's called The Blessing. And last summer, some people from Holy Trinity Church, our church, got together online to sing different parts of this song. So as you're watching this film, you might recognise lots of faces of people that helped to put this song together. And it was all put together by Sam Stocks. So, hope you enjoy watching this and have an amazing week. Bye-bye.
Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.
Make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 children, and their children, and their children. May His presence go before you.